Good morning, everybody. Happy Sabbath. And yes, I had a lot of more hair, beard, and I was skinnier too. My closet, I have like all of the hangers full, but when I go to try them out, I'm able to fit in just one of them. That's why most of the times you see me in dark, because it shows less the wrinkles, I guess. So, because when you stretch it, it makes some wrinkles. But for me, it's a great privilege to be here today, and a great responsibility as well. This morning I woke up and I felt something different. And I came back to bed, I saw my son. He slept with us this night. And he wakes up in the morning, he says, "Oi!" And until we wake up and look into him, and he tries to wake us up, I guess. He might be trying to do that, I'm not sure, but I guess he does. But it was a happy moment for me, and I realized why. It's because today is the Sabbath. Today is Saturday. It's a holy day that God separated to be a special time so we can spend with Him. And I felt something different in the air. I felt the environment was different. It was peaceful, and I felt it. And I was happy. And I came to church, and I came a little earlier to rehearse the songs we sang this morning. And I was very blessed by the songs we sang. In the morning when we rehearsed, right now, in the worship service, I don't know if you felt the same thing, but the first song we sang about the greatness of God. We tried to declare through our music what we believe about God, how great is our God. And then there's a part on the song that we sang, "Name above all names." The second song we sang, "Lord, I need you." And I guess the person who wrote this song was inspired, because if you listen to the melody, not just the lyrics, but the music on it, the music saying about the same thing that the words of the music are saying. And not everybody is able to do it, but that song brings together the music and the lyrics. You know, when I was singing it, I was thinking about it. Lord, I need you. Oh Lord, how I need you. And then the third song I sang, and I heard you guys singing too. I guess that's a very, very hard song to sing. Not because of the techniques you need to have to sing the song, but about I surrender all. Can I say I surrender all? To sing I surrender all. And I heard the church singing, and you sing beautifully. To sing, to declare to the Lord, I surrender all. Everything, every little area in your life, you are surrendering to the Lord. The preacher tells that a man came to Jesus and he had like a locker. And that locker was a symbol of his life. And he had like many doors in his life, many different areas in his life. And he had a bunch of keys inside of his pocket. And he took the bunch of keys and tried to hand it to Jesus. And he held the keys for a little bit, for a little moment. He took one little key back and gave all of the other keys to Jesus. And Jesus told him, I need all of them. I need them all. This is not 100%. You can have all of them back if you don't give all of them back to me. And then the preacher says that he decided and he gave the last key to Jesus. This is what means when we sing, I surrender all. I surrender all means that you're giving to Jesus, you're giving to God all of the keys that you have in your life, to all of the different lockers. Diego was saying that this is the first sermon that I'm preaching after my son was born. There's a song that I like very much, and I'm going to tell just a little bit about the song. I love Southern gospel music. I follow some of the quartets, and one of the quartets, if you have the chance to listen to them, Brian Free and Assurance. They're very good. And the way they pick the songs in order to put in the album and to record them and to sell the albums, they pray about it, they listen to the songs, and they decide which are the songs that are going to be chosen by the song, not by who wrote it, how famous the person is. And how they do it, to not be biased by the name of the person. Brian Free, the owner of the quartet, he says that before looking into the name of who wrote the song, he listens to the song. And then, okay, I like this song. Now I'm going to look into the name. And that's how they choose the songs. In the last CD they recorded, there's a song that he was listening to the song and he began to cry. He began to cry because of the message of the song. And the message of the song made him remember his father. And the song starts saying that his father woke up before the sun and had the Bible in his hands. He was reading and learning from the Bible before the son was born. His father was a man that he had some differences with, but he was the man that he looked up to be like. And the father of the man on that song was his hero. And he tells that when he was listening to the song, it made him remember his father, the way his father was. After listening to the song, crying, he decided, okay, we're going to sing this song, we're going to record this song. And when he went to look up who wrote the song, his son wrote the song. He was the father, he was the man on that song. And the other day we were laying in bed with Lucas, and I was looking to him. And I realized that at this point in his life, I am his strongest hero. And that's a great responsibility. Not just to be the hero now, but to keep on being the hero. He's going to grow up, I hope to God. He's going to speak, he's going to walk, he's going to go to school, he's going to make decisions on his own. And at that time, when he's able to leave the house by his own decisions, buy his own car, choose his own girlfriend, I hope still to be his hero. Not just today, when he doesn't know enough about life. Knowing about life, well, before telling you this, the title of the sermon today is Living in Remission. What makes you think about when you hear the term living in remission? What remission is related to? Healing of what? Cancer. When somebody develops cancer and they get cured from cancer, they don't say that, it's okay if I stay down here? Cameraman? Okay. I don't like stay up there. They don't say you cured. They don't say you healed. You're living in remission. Because the cancer always could come back. So you're living in remission. One day at a time. Every little morning that you wake up is a gift. That's living in remission. The other day, Lucas, it was during the night and he woke up crying, screaming, like a desperate. And I went to his room and I went to hold him, and I felt that like his fine little hair on the back of his head was all wet from being sweat. And he had a nightmare. And it was like a cute moment that I was able to hold him and then calm him down. But it made me think, what was he dreaming about? How a little boy like this, like a 5 months old, can have a nightmare? What was the nightmare about? Probably. What are the informations he has about life that makes him fear and like things? What was the dream about? I mean, I'm probably never going to know it, but he had a nightmare. And looking into his face, he's pure. His little skin, everything is clean, everything is neat, everything is where it has to be. And when I look into the mirror, I realized that one day I was like him, but today I have stuff in my body that I would like not to have, and some of the stuff I would like to have more. Like, I would like to have more muscle and all, be more fit, but I'm not. I'm losing some of my hair. So, yeah. How is it to be like a bald, you know? Is it fine? Is it good? Okay. That's some good news. Anyways, but he's pure. And it made me realize that when you get into life and you start to experience life, life takes some of you. And after a few years, the degree of purity goes like lowering, and we get less pure and less pure. And the message that I have to bring to you today is something very, very important. Everything related to the Bible is important, I guess, I think. But I don't feel worthy, and I don't feel able to bring it to you. And that makes me fear. And I realize that that's because I'm not as pure as I used to be. When I look into my life, not just my body is not pure anymore, but my mind, my character is not pure anymore. And I want to compare the purity of life, the moral purity of life, to a healthy life. In the impurity of life, I want to compare it to cancer. Because we're sick. This is a disease. Sin is a disease that we were born into it. Cancer, I'm not a specialist, so I'm not going to stress the whole thing with you. But if I'm wrong, please, those of the field, correct me. But you can make your body receptive or not receptive to diseases, depending on how you sleep, how you rest, how you eat, how how you exercise. There are things that you can do in your life, the way you live your life, are going to make it easier for you to develop cancer, or going to make it harder for you to develop cancer. Let's say the environment of the body becomes receptive to cancer. How can we do it? I mean, one of the things that I know is the level of sugar that you eat, the amount of sugar that you eat daily. That makes your body acid, and that might help somebody, I don't know if I can say help, but to develop cancer, because cancer likes an acid environment. If you exercise regularly, you're gonna you're gonna get ready of all of the acid that you have in your body through your sweat, and your mind is gonna clear too. So there are things that we can do to clear our body. The same way, there are things we can do to cooperate with sin. There's stuff that we can do to make your mind, the body of our mind, acid, if I can say that, more receptive to sin. And that's related to the environment. You can choose what to read, what to listen to, and what to watch. And that will definitely help you out on towards what your mind is going to be inclined to. I have some notes here. I'm just see if I'm not lost by now. Yes. This is not something new. The way that the world influences us is not something new. Paul used to deal with this. He says, I have the words, well, let me read it. This is in Romans 7, verse 24. You guys probably know this verse by heart. Romans chapter 7, verse 24. What a wretched man I am. Who will rescue me from this body that is subjected to death? Someone has a different version of this. You want to read it, please? And then if you go back a little bit, verses 19 and 20, he says, For I do not do the good I want to do, but the evil I do not want to do. This I keep on doing. Now, if I do what I do not want to do, it is no longer I who do it, but it is sin living in me that does it. We live in a battle. It's a great controversy, and that's happening inside of our minds. And daily, we are presented to challenges, and that we have to decide what to do and what not to do. But many times, as Paul says, we end up doing stuff that we do not want to do. We want to live in purity, but we end up living stuff. Even though we're trying to live the purity, we end up going for what not is pure. What do you understand by purity? I know it's not a Sabbath school discussion now, but I want to listen from you guys. What do you understand by purity? Okay, a very chemical answer. Okay, I'll give him a mic. This is Jeremy. Okay, I'm saying hello to the cameraman. Here we go.
It's a quantity of, I guess I got to turn myself up, don't I? It's how we quantify or the quantity of foreign objects in any given substance.
Okay. I understood that, but it is very, very, what is the word? Scientific. Yes. Okay,
I just want to just give an illustration, like if you see the lily, even though if it is in the filthy like the water, it doesn't matter however it's filthy the water is, but it still remains purity in when it blooms.
Okay.
So we also have to live like that for Jesus.
Amen.
In the purity of our heart.
Amen.
I put it in a very simple way. Unblemished.
So purity, whenever we hear the word purity, we relate it to unfaithful sexual activities. And that definitely makes part of it, but it's not the whole thing. It is related to the way you work. When somebody's paying you by hour, the person who is paying you hourly is buying not you, but the person is buying the right to use your time. So your time is his or hers. So the way you use that time is not to you, it's to that person. The way I sell a car, I try to hide stuff in the car so it will be easier to sell. There's a rusty spot, so I go and buy like a very beautiful, nicely printed crab from Maryland and put on top of the rusty spot. And then the person comes up, see, he comes even with the crab. I paid $5 on that crab. Yes. The way I drive, the traffic stops. I have the option to take the shoulder. The way I drive. It says no U-turn. No U-turn. No turn on red. No turn on red. You stop for the red, not slow down. Stop. You might think that I'm crazy saying these things here, but so you can understand how common things became among us. Just because it's common doesn't mean it is acceptable. Still, we have to be like a lily that grows in the middle of the dirty water, the filthy water, that grows clean, pure. we talked about cancer before, but cancer is not the first disease that kills you in the world. The first most deadly disease are the disease related to the heart. But I don't know you, but honestly, I'd rather die out of heart attack than dying of skin cancer, lung cancer, or any other type of cancer. What difference it makes? If I was able to choose between the two, what difference would it make? Have you seen a person like in a very advanced stage of cancer? Sorry to mention this to you. I'm sorry if I might hurt somebody, but it's a terrible disease to deal with. And the cancer doesn't just destroy the person physically, it destroys the person emotionally, mentally. The person is not able to relate to his loved ones the way he used to be, the way he used to do. So cancer is a terrifying disease. In the Bible, we don't have like a mention the disease cancer, but the disease that I most found similar to cancer in the Bible, leprosy. That's why, who read the Bible? Jacob or Joshua? Joshua. Yeah. Matthew 8, 1-4. Well, let's read it. Matthew, Jesus 1-4. When Jesus came down from the mountainside, large crowds followed him. A man with leprosy came and kneeled before him and said, "Lord, if you're willing, you can make me clean." And then the surprising part of it is, Jesus reached out his hand and touched the man. "I'm willing," he said, "be clean." Immediately he was cleansed of his leprosy. The Bible doesn't tell the whole story, but we kind of can imagine what this man went through. When he first learned that he had developed the disease, he found a little white spot in his skin and probably tried to hide that from everybody because he knew the consequence of that thing getting bigger. But it came to a point that the thing was already gross, smelly. He was not able to hide that anymore. Had to come to the priest and let the priest take a look on him, see if he was clean or if that was actually leprosy. And he was found out to be with leprosy. He was sent away to live with the people that had leprosy, just as him. And he was declared to be away from the community. Can you imagine what this man went through to get close to Jesus? The Bible says that when Jesus was coming down on the mountainside, he was surrounded by a crowd. And when somebody with leprosy would be coming into the community, he would come and claim, what is the word? Unclean, unclean. He was supposed to scream it for everybody to know, okay, somebody sick is coming to be among us. Let's get far away from him. He was supposed to come among the society claiming and screaming, unclean, unclean, unclean. Probably the moment that this man tried to reach Jesus, people ran from him. When they realized that that man had leprosy, they ran from him. Other people screamed at him. Other people told him, "Get away, you dirty man. You're not allowed here among us. You're sick." Maybe other people tried to push him away. Probably not, because they would have to touch him, and then they would be unclean. But the Bible tells that he was able to come to Jesus. He kneeled before Jesus, and he poured out his heart, and he said, "Jesus," or better, he said, "Lord, if you want to, you can make me clean." What Jesus did, Jesus could have just pronounced the cure, but better, Jesus re-included the man in society. Jesus made the man feel human again, and Jesus touched him. And after touching him, he said, "I want, be clean." We have cancer or leprosy today. Spiritual cancer, spiritual leprosy. What the cell of cancer does to the body. It's a useless cell that reproduces itself in a very high speed. So that useless cell or part of the body that's useless is taking part or taking the room, taking the space that should be dedicated to vital parts of our body. That's what the cancer does. If I have a spiritual cancer, it means that the bad cells are taking over the room that should be used to accommodate the good cells, the useful, the vital cells. The good news is that day, Jesus touched the man. Jesus touched this man. And you know what? The day Jesus touched this man, he contracted the disease. Jesus lived the disease. Jesus has experienced the disease. When Jesus was on the cross and he said, "Father, where are you? I want to see you. I long for you, but I'm not able." The Bible tells that when the soldier poked the side of Jesus, water and blood came out. That is possible by a physical event, phenomenon that happens when the heart literally breaks apart. The heart splits in half. Hours before, in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus was sweating blood because of the tremendous stress Jesus was going through. What was happening to Jesus? Jesus was tasting the worst part of the disease. Jesus had in his mouth the bitterness of the presence of the spiritual cancer in his body. The moment on the cross, Jesus had over his shoulder all of the times that I ever committed sin. All of the guilty, all of the shame, all of the bad feelings about doing something wrong. All of the times that I had that, Jesus had all of that accumulated just once over his shoulder. Jesus didn't have just my guilty. Jesus had your guilty. Jesus had the guilt of all of the people that ever lived and that will ever live. All of the guilty made a very thick cloud, dark, of sin. It made separation between him and the Father. That's the only time ever the Trinity was ever, if I can say, separate. The Son was taken apart from the Father. That was the worst ever symptom or consequence of the spiritual cancer that we live in. Jesus experienced my cancer. And Jesus died out of my cancer. But the story doesn't end here. Jesus lived again. Jesus lives on. He's alive today. And he's pure again. Today, I am living in remission. Because I was touched. I was made clean. Today, I'm living in remission. But it's not a guarantee that tomorrow I'm not going to get sick again. I have to watch myself out. I have to watch my steps. I have to look where I walk, what I look at, what I listen to, what I read. Because I might get sick again. If I put sugar inside of my body, a lot of sugar, always, I don't know. I might be genetically inclined to develop something that might be triggered by the sugar that I ingest. I have to watch out. But one day, I'll be made pure. One day, I'll be restored. To live forever pure and not need to live in remission anymore. Thank you very much.